Hey guys, I'm Kelly with Out of the Fridge, and I'm here with...
Drew Rausch.
And Jocelyn, Gajeway.
And they do an amazing webcomic called My Blacks Don't Match. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. My Blacks Don't Match is the story of a small sleepy town that suffers from the fear of Halloween, commonly known as Samhain phobia. It's actually a real thing. It's also a terrible place to live. I do the art, and...
I'm the writer.
You're the writer.
Yeah.
Very cool. So something we usually ask people who are on our show is, what is your comic book origin story? What got you into comic books, or art, or writing, or...
Jeez. I actually grew up a little bit sort of like wanting to tell stories. I love children's books. And then as I got older, I got into comics. Funny story is, you know how they had, Marvel used to have those things in the back, like the order forms?
Oh, yeah.
And there was all kinds of different titles. I always got sent Amazing Spider-Man, regardless of what I ordered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But then after that, I kind of got into like the old DC comics, like Tales from the Crypt and stuff.
Of course.
Know you?
I pretty much wrote all through high school. I kind of fell into comic book writing from more critical stuff. I was helping Drew edit a script when we first met, and he's like, well, why don't you just start writing it? Yeah. And that's kind of how it started. Why don't you just start writing this?
Nice.
So,
Very
but
cool.
I got into comics in the mid-90s with Sandman and in the early Vertigo books.
Yeah. All that spooky stuff.
Yeah, all the spooky stuff. Spooky literary stuff.
Oh yeah, same. So are those sort of your inspirations for this sort of thing, or what are your particular inspirations? You seem sort of Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, like art-wise, yeah. I think the first thing that people notice is the Beetlejuice animated series look, and I love that. Like I kind of like love the cartoons of the '90s, like how like rubbery everything was. Like I'm a huge like Spunko fan, so like Ren and Stimpy and John Kay and stuff. But yeah, like I like to take all that and kind of like a little bit of Tim Burton, and just kind of mix it all together in a blender.
And the stories kind of derive from a lot of old horror movies, urban legends, various cultures, folk tales. So I love
Vintage Halloween.
Vintage Halloween, vintage Halloween. But I'll take a vintage Halloween picture and then I'll go dig through folk tales and find a concept that sort of works, and then build a story around that. Or I love urban legends. Modern urban folklore is just one of my favorite things ever.
Are you mostly using sort of Western urban legends and folklore?
No, I dive into anywhere I can find it. I try to be careful and respectful of stuff from other cultures, because I don't, folklore is folklore and it's meant to tell stories, but you really have to read into it to make sure that the story you're telling does reflect a little bit of what the, what the folklore was supposed to represent too.
Of course, I recently heard a really awesome Japanese urban legend about Hanako-san. She's like a toilet ghost.
Oh yeah, the toilet ghost is awesome.
I keep telling everyone about it because I just found out about it, and I was like, have you heard this? It's like my favorite thing.
I tend to go a little older with my multicultural folklore because, again, modern folklore tends to come from modern tragedy. Yeah. So I don't want to mine someone else's more, like there's a lot of ghost stories right now in urban legends about tsunami victims in Japan, and I don't want to go there. I want to keep my urban legends kind of fun and light. We all like clowns in vans, and the whole thing in South Carolina right now with the clowns down by the river is just, I hate to say that it's hilarious to me, but about every 20 years there's a pack of roving clowns in a major city, and it freaks people out, and it's always an urban legend, or it's one guy that turns into 25 guys with a bunch of chains.
I don't know, I always like you were talking about how we try to avoid like the ghost stories of like, I like that kind of stuff though.
But not the modern stuff. You like to go...
I like people, like I like the campfire stories.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Like the haunted park bench, or like the dark wooded areas that has the witch in it, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you go with the big trope and not the really specific.
I gotcha. Yeah. So what sort of, is that sort of the stuff you read most of the time then?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you have specific comics you're reading right now?
I've been like reading Harrow Country is the newest thing that I've been reading, which I really love. And I guess Invisible Republic. By Gabriel Hardman and Corinna Becco. I've been really and I'm not really a sci-fi guy, so like I'm really enjoying that because it's something so outside of my realm of spooky stories and stuff.
And I have been incredibly slammed at work, so right now I am not reading anything. I've been listening to a bunch of folklore podcasts. There's a great one on Spotify called, I think it's actually called Myths and Folklores, and he goes into Western fairy tales and looks for the original origin.
Is that lore?
No, it's not lore. It's I think it's called Myths and Folklores.
Okay.
I'll look it up
Have
again.
you listened to lore?
It's really, I haven't listened to lore.
That one's so good.
I think I listened to a few of them, but not all of them.
I like lore.
I liked it. It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just, I think it was short. That was the problem.
that
I
one
had
is
a
very
2 hour. I had a long commute to work, and I'm like, I can't listen to a half-hour podcast. I need something with a little more meat.
Lore is great to draw to though, because it is short. Like you don't have to really pay attention to it that much.
Yeah. That one is enjoyable. So you guys have any upcoming projects besides my Blackstone match that you're working on?
We're really kind of focusing on my Blackstone match right now. We're knee deep in the second chapter, and so since it's a weekly webcomic, that's a pretty good chunk of time. Yeah. But there's a couple other projects going on. We're actually still kind of toying with bringing back Edward Scissorhands for maybe a third volume.
Nice.
But there's some other stuff that we're doing. We're doing a lot of weird freelancing stuff.
Are you just focusing on...
Mostly my Blackstone match. We're thinking about taking one of the characters and making another story about...
The cat?
The cat story, yeah.
We have this Halloween cat. His name's Mr. Jinx.
Aww.
And basically he's Satan's cat. And every October 30th he comes to reality from hell and watches like all the mischief happen before Halloween.
Because we just keep calling. He comes to Earth on Mischief Night, and then we got a bunch of blank stares.
Yeah, is Mischief Night like only
an East Coast thing?
East Coast
or
thing?
is it called something
different? Have you ever
different?
heard of Mischief Night?
I have, but only because of the crow.
Okay.
I've come from a very small town, though, in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not a good judge of that.
Well, we're originally from Philadelphia, so
okay.
I mean, Mischief Night was pretty much October 30th, and it was when all the degenerates, the weird kids would come out in toilet paper houses and throw
stuff.
eggs.
They steal your pumpkins, and
good fun stuff.
The whole shenanigans.
Shenanigans, Halloween shenanigans.
Very cool. Well, anything else you'd like to plug or anything?
We would love if everybody came and visited our webcomic and joined in. Tis the season.
Yeah.
October's coming up.
It's pre-Halloween right now.
Yeah.
It's
September. And then
all the way from December to September is
pre-Halloween.
Pre-Halloween.
And then October is just
The
Halloween.
month of Halloween.
Yeah. And then you take a break in November because you got to eat.
Yeah.
That's Turkey Ween.
It's Turkey Ween.
Yeah.
And then it's Christmas Ween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you